Should Marvel Strike Force go back into maintenance mode to fix all of the bugs? Why was the Brawn event scoring changed? And Spider Weaver is here now, but how much does she matter? We're talking about all of these things and the rest of Update 6.4 on this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. This week, I am joined by my brother DorkyDad, and if you're ready for all of it, brother DorkyDad, tell him what to do.
Let's go smush some bugs.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, Valley Maniacs. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having a great day. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content, at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel, talking about all the good and bad in this game. And if you are returning, welcome back. This is this week's edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. Lots of bugs, lots of updates coming with 6.4. And to discuss it all is my brother DorkyDad. DorkyDad, how have you been? And how are you enjoying Marvel Strike Force right now?
I've been pretty good. Right now, the game's kind of a mess. Just like everything is broken. Nothing's really working as it is supposed to. But I'm also excited from what this patch is going to bring. So I think if they can get the game under control, then what's coming next should be a lot of fun this month.
That is a big if, though, DorkyDad. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I want this game to be working properly. I think there's a lot of fun ahead, but they got to fix these bugs. There's been a lot of these bugs, and most of them, fortunately, are known issues. So if we go to their support page here, let me just run down a list of some of the most recent bugs. Some of them updated just yesterday. So the Strike Pass, Season 20, the messaging went out early. Some people, like myself, was not paying attention that the new Strike Pass was not in there, claimed the credits to get the Advance of Strike Pass, and yeah, they know about that. Hopefully they'll be giving compensation for that, sending that stuff out early. War Room bonuses applying old buffs. They changed it just a few blog posts ago, and now all the old buffs are back. Everything's been reverted. Niku's costume credit changes, there's some there. This one is a big one for me. The top text is broken. And what that means is when you're trying to refresh energy, you click on the energy thing. You don't click on where you normally did. You actually click on the icon to make that work. Same thing with your ISO 8 energy, your power cores, all that other stuff. Has this affected you a lot?
I think I was trying to do it for like 10 minutes and I couldn't figure out what was wrong because I waited for Brawn's event to start to be able to max out my energy, right? So I waited for the refreshes. And then it was the weird time in between when the patch came live and when like the store reset. And I wanted to get it in for the milestones because, you know, you have the streak milestones that give a bunch of good stuff. And then you have the other campaign milestones as well. So I was really trying to get in and I couldn't figure it out. And I was so frustrated. I thought it was just like my fat fingers were hitting 3 different pressure points at the same time. And yeah, this is very annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, I just, why was this changed? Well, at least it's a bug. It's not like something that they did on purpose. So hopefully this will be fixed soon. But I think for me and a lot of the community, the achievements aren't working. This one right here, the gear finder not working. And it's not just for gear. It's for character shards. It's for ISO 8 stuff. And if we go into the game, I'll show you what appears for me on BlueStacks. But on my iOS device, on my main thing, nothing. So if we go into the game right now, for Valkyrie, looking for these superior health catalysts, it's all out of order, but they're at least there. When I play on my iOS device, there's nothing there except these orbs and offers, no farming locations, which is pretty bad for a hero collector game. Trying to farm and get all these resources. You can't even collect things properly right now, and that's kind of missing the point of this whole game. We're farming, we're building our characters. How much has this bug affected you, DorkyDad?
So I'm strictly an ISO 8 player. I was told if I uninstalled my game and reinstalled my game, it would fix it. I tried that.
iOS player.
iOS, yeah. What?
Okay, I thought you said ISO 8. I'm like, it confused me. Okay.
Yeah, my brain is fried, just like the game.
Trying to figure out all these bugs, you're just using up too much brain power.
Exactly. But yeah, so But this sucks. And I had somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2,000 energy to spend. And then I had to go through the nodes to find all the catalysts, to find where the health catalysts were, to find where voodoo was. I had no idea where voodoo was in the campaigns. Find her met. So I spent like 15 minutes doing that. And then every day since, I think it's been either 1 or 2 days since then, it's still a hassle. And it's like, it's in the middle of a heavy campaign energy spending event too. So it's doubled up, and it's just like, I got to the point where I don't care. I'm going to the latest Doom chapter, and I'm just farming everything that's not a character item max. Just like, no, I don't care. I don't care.
So it's perfect timing for this. We're spending a lot of extra low quality time because during this farming event, we can't actually claim energy where we're supposed to. Actually, that one worked right there, but it doesn't work on my iOS. And we can't actually farm the characters if you're on iOS. If you're on Android, or at least on BlueStacks, it's a little messy, but they're there. Yeah. But on iOS, it's non-existent right now for all that stuff. So perfect time, Scopely, for all of these bugs to be occurring on this in a hero collector game in an event where this stuff is super, super important. The war replay feature, let's touch on that a little. Now, this was not necessarily a bug, but something that went live early and then was removed. Did you get to use this when this was actually in-game for the half an hour or so that it appeared?
I did, and I came up with this brand new YouTube video series I was going to do called Watch My Alliance Mates Suck in Alliance War. So I got to watch somebody fail a spectacular war fight against a very easy war defense team because they were being greedy, and it was fun, it was great, it was funny, and then 10 minutes later the feature was gone. I think them trying to implement this is what broke the war buffs, by the way, and then they were able to take this off, but it didn't revert the war buffs. So
why do you think they took this off? Because do you think it's when they removed this feature that all the buffs got broken, or when this was added all the buffs got broken?
I think when this was added all the buffs got broken, and they thought if they took it off it would fix it, and it didn't. So instead we just have, you know, the old bad extra war defense buffs, and now we don't have the war replay, which was kind of fun to do. So yeah.
Decimal point, Jeff. Has the war buffs returning? Has that affected wars for you? Because that made the defense a lot harder before they changed it. Now, I guess it's back. Are you losing wars because of the extra defensive bonuses that are there?
Not yet. So where I'm at, we have 6 free wars basically, and then 2 very competitive. We usually lose those wars. Okay. So if this buff persists until we face Legion and Mutiny, then that's going to really suck and it's going to really hurt us. But until then, we're kind of benefiting from it, but not even then. We don't need it. We're just bullying people even more because of it, which kind of sucks.
That's kind of how it is at the high-level alliances, just bullying people, smashing them over. Now, there's a few other bugs. The known issues right here. This was before the patch, the Kestrel bug. They didn't say that this was a fixed bug in the patch notes, but that actually appears to be fixed. A couple days in a row, no summons for Greg, and people in the Valley Club is saying on the chat, saying that this is working correctly. So Kestrel appears to be working correctly, but the thing that they mentioned in the blog post as a fixed bug, Adam Warlock still not working, applying Disrupt on the primary target even though it's not a protector, and Psylocke still having trouble, and all of it is on that one node, that one bio node. How are you doing on that bio node?
Well, look, that bio node is an absolute nightmare, and it sucks so much. With that said, these issues don't help it, but when these issues are fixed, it's not going to fix the node. So I know a lot of people are banking on this, making that node one-shottable and more manageable. I hate to be that guy. This node is still going to smash your Web Warriors to pieces. But yeah, it's silly that they gave new things to the enemy character kits. Like how can they all of a sudden start doing new things? I can understand them not doing things they're supposed to do, but doing new things, kind of whack.
It's the coding issue. The coding team, the QA team, they're hanging out with Echo and Gambit wherever the heck they are. But I noticed this fix of Kestrel's made that early skill node very easy, because when Hela gets all that speed of all that Greg's dying, it's just kind of a nightmare. Now she's not having Greg's, not getting that speed. It's much easier. So I don't know. I'm hoping this will make it slightly easier when they're fixed, but not really fixed. Now, with all of these bugs, we mentioned a few, we highlighted a few of them, but there's a lot of bugs going in right now that they know about that still are not fixed yet. With that said, should the game be going into maintenance mode? The maintenance was extended for this update. The scheduled maintenance running longer than originally anticipated. Should they have kept the game down longer to fix all these bugs, especially that gear and character shard finding one? Or do you think they should just take it down and fix it and then put it back up? Would that be a better solution than we have right now?
So the reason I think they brought it back up when they did is because they didn't want it to lead into because there's very popular arena resets, right? And I think that 6 p.m. Eastern reset is a very populated one. So I don't think they wanted it to extend over that. But the game is such a mess right now that I think they probably should take the game down so they can work on it without interruptions. But do you trust them to actually get anything done during that time becomes the question, right? And then the other question is, if they were a good company, they would do it in the dead of night when the vast majority of their players are asleep. Now, that would affect people on the Europe side, and you should compensate those people for that downtime like they do for every maintenance. But they need to do something because it's the game is on fire right now, and we have so many very big events coming up that it's just going to get worse.
Let me just touch on that. Is that the game's on fire right now? If all these bugs were solved with the current complaints that the community have about the Abomination event, other things, would all those things be acceptable if we didn't have all of these bugs? At least for you, would all these things for you be easier to take if we didn't have all these bugs and errors and miscommunication and wrong communication and communication being changed at the last minute? Would that satisfy you just to get that easy part done?
No, I think there's three areas, right? There's the physical game issues, and I think that needs to be addressed, needs to be fixed because it's causing pandemonium basically. And then there's the, I don't want to call it purposely false, but false information that we're getting that's leading to expectations that are then not met. That's another issue. And then there's the third issue, and this issue will never go away, is how Scopely is deciding to run their game, making events not free to play, increasing prices on offers, spending players until they burn out and quit. And I don't know about the longevity that is going to cause for the game in the future. So.
See, the milking the players, the increasing prices, I think I could kind of stomach that a little if the quality of the game is going up, but the quality seems to be going down, more and more errors. So what can be done? Are there any signs of hope coming? And the other thing is, this is the last tweet, the last communication that was sent out by Marvel Strike Force, at least as of us recording this right now. And a lot of times, like as I'm editing this, stuff comes out. But as of us recording this is the last tweet that was sent out. Nothing about these bugs, nothing about the game-breaking finding bugs that is so annoying during this update. And it's kind of against the thing of all these hero collectors. Where are the signs of hope right now, and why have the devs been so silent? At least the community managers, there's not even a lot of communication in the private Envoy chat right now about all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think because the game is on fire, and I think they're in hardcore fix-it mode. The initial stuff we were just talking about, the stuff you had highlighted, I think they're working very hard to try and fix that, and the community managers don't want to say a single word until something is fixed, until there's something good to tell us. So we might be waiting for a while.
So they haven't said anything because they have no good news to share, only bad news.
That's my take on it.
Would it be, I mean, I would be a little more satisfied than having this question right now. It's like, all right, we realize these things, because that is their website. That is not like communication, like, hey guys, we know this stuff is going on. That's just on their website, on their known issues website. We got to go dig and check out that stuff on our own to see if the devs are aware of a lot of these issues, which I guess they are, but that's not communicated to us.
Yeah.
All right. Now, there was a big revelation earlier this week, and I don't know if you remember or not, but there was an Envoy call where we got up all the information on the Underworld team. Something else was revealed in that call, and this may not be important to some players, but for me, this was very important. The size of Hulk was discussed, and they said that they couldn't change the Hulk size because of clipping issues. And I thought that was because of that weird thing that Hulk was doing. I don't know if you remember that back in the day, but all right, this is gonna get a little non-PG, guys, so close your eyes, but this is what was going on in the game. Look at what he's doing to Emma. Why is he doing that to Emma? I thought it was because of this. They didn't want that to come back. That was eliminated, but he's still doing it. So why haven't they changed the size? Because if you go into the game, you can get a real sized Hulk, you know, but you have to go into ISO 8. So why are they taking so long with this, DorkyDad? There's a small one, ISO 8, and boom, there is a normal size Hulk in the game. So why don't they use this character model?
I have to assume it has something to do with his animations and it freaking out the second he's bigger in game. With that said, this is the freaking Hulk, you amateurs. You're making a team called Gamma. Sure, Red Hulk is the best character on the team, but Hulk is the most beloved. Figure it out. Fix him. Make new animations. Spend 2 weeks with your art department figuring it out, because this is ridiculous. This is the goddamn Hulk. Come on.
I agree. You know, all the game breaking stuff. This is something that doesn't matter too much, but this is really, really important to me. Fix this thing.
Oh, every time I go to use this team on war practice mode or anywhere I'm using them, and I see him beside the other Hulks, I just lose it. I laugh uncontrollably, or I grit my teeth, or I just chuck my phone through the wall, because I'm a Hulk inside, and I do not like the disrespect to putting on my man's name.
Well, I thought it was explained earlier this week because he was violating the other members of the Gamma team, but that's clearly not the case. He's still violating them. So why is he small?
How can he violate them? He can't reach them.
He can reach their kneecaps.
There you go.
All right. Now, let's continue talking about this. There are some positive things going on in Marvel Strike Force that we will discuss, some planning things, but I think a lot of this issues came with this thing here, the update to start times. And man, has there been one day since this went live that there hasn't been something misaligned or anything? Because they changed some things, they didn't change all the things. And let me read this, why this was done. Since the launch of Marvel Strike Force, we typically had events start at 5 p.m. Pacific. Going forward, we're moving the start times to 2 p.m. Pacific. It's typically 5 p.m. is typically the end of the workday for most of our teams, so expect that the earlier time will increase the quality of events. Not at all. They've just been going down since this time change. Give us more time and resources to address event details and issues that may arise as they occur. I think what would solve a lot of the issues, just revert the time back to how it was, and then there will be less issues that you'll have to solve. The update, along with several updates to enter the process, to put a greater focus on game stability and a smooth gameplay experience. I don't think there's been a smooth gameplay day since this went live, DorkyDad. Why don't they just revert this back or synchronize everything to start at the same time? What is with their boneheaded, short-sighted reason to change these times without changing everything?
Okay, so when they changed it the first time, it broke stuff. When they change it back, I'm afraid the sun is going to stop working outside, because these guys will break anything. So I'm just theoretically, the reason they did it was cool. Switching back at this point, I think they'll just mess it up even more, and all of a sudden we're going to have events starting at 4 p.m. and 3 p.m. and it's just going to go crazy. So I think they need to keep it, but they need to fix it, and they need to take a real hard look at that word stability, game stability, and figure out what that means to their players, because it is not stable right now, and they are doing a terrible job since this went live.
But DorkyDad, they are their harshest critics, so they must, at those Scopely offices, they must just be insulting each other on a daily, on a constant basis. You suck, all of them, because as much salt that we have as players and content creators, they're harsher than us, so they're insulting each other way more than that. What would you think is the solution to fix this? Is it changing everything to start at 2 p.m., the reset, all that stuff to start at 2 p.m. to align the times? What would you suggest to them to fix this? Because if they can't revert it back to how it was, what is the solution? Getting everything to work properly? There's still going to be a 3-hour gap between some events starting and the actual ability to use these things in the event.
Yeah, so they need to harmonize that. Everything event related needs to go to one particular time, whether that's the new time or the old time. It all needs to go to one, because it's causing so many issues. And what you just said made me think of something that I think would really help Scopely out. So instead of getting a greeter like Walmart has, they should get an insulter, and they should hire me to stand at the entrance to their office to remind each individual what their task is for the day and to insult them if they don't get it done on the way out. I think that would be good. And I'll hang out by the weed lounge to do it.
I just think you remind them that what their task is for the day is important. You know, don't break anything. You know, add stuff, but don't break things that were non-broken before. Just very, very not good. And we're going to continue with more salt because we have an event in the game right now. This totally awesome event. And if you're listening to the podcast first, I'm using quotation on this because this is not a totally awesome event. This was not the scoring that we were promised. In the blog post originally, it said 5 points per campaign energy and then 1 point for each alliance credit. Well, that was reverted. That was changed back to 4 on the blog post. Originally, if you guys look at the videos, all the videos from earlier in the week, if we go down to see their point totals, this used to say 5 points. This used to say 4. They even changed this image that it was associated with it to kind of, I guess, cover their own butts. How scummy is this move from Scopely?
It's pretty damn scummy, especially because, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I wasn't paying full attention, it was asked for clarification because there was 2 different conflicting numbers at one point. And it was told to us that the 5 was correct and the 4 was incorrect. And then they changed it, and then now that it went live, they then changed it again to 4. Am I misremembering that, or did that happen? I remember.
I believe that is what happened in the Envoy chat. It was specifically asked and said, no, it's going to be 5. And then it wasn't. Why? What is with the change? Do you think it was originally supposed to be 4 in the first place? We're getting bad information. And what is with their accountability? Why do they not live up to what they say they're going to do on these blog posts? I mean, there's something changed every single event. Why even post the numbers if the numbers are going to be wrong, DorkyDad?
Yeah, so they're clearly not being held accountable by anybody, and not even by us, because boneheads like me, we're still buying new characters, we're still doing stuff like that. So we're both their consumer and their client, right? So like they need us to run the game, we give them money to do it, and we're not holding them responsible. And I guess that's kind of up to us at a certain point. But like when they put subject to change, I did
not buy Spiderweaver. That's my statement to all these bugs. That's my way of holding them accountable. I'm not buying their stuff until they fix things.
That's good. I'm gonna join you on that for the rest of the Tangled Web team. I'm not gonna be
nice.
But yeah, it's super greedy, right? So it was a 7-day event, so that's gonna cost you on average about 7,000 points through the event. And basically what that did is it moved the goalposts on reaching like that second last milestone where there's the 50 Brawn shards.
Yeah.
So that one was actually pretty achievable if your alliance was on board with doing, I think half people did a 50 core, then you got an extra alliance box. And then I think if you did 1 or 2 extra 100 core energy refreshes, you could get this easily enough. Like you were shilling out, I think, an extra 1,400 cores or 1,500 cores or something like that during these 7 days. But that
1,400 cores you're talking about was over the course of the entire event, not per day. Okay.
Yes, over the course. But now what it did is I think it pushed it to the point where if you wanted to hit that, you might need to be dropping an extra 100 core energy refresh, or even a 200. I don't know the exact math, but it basically just pushed it so that you're spending an extra 100 to 200 cores a day. And
so
it's just unneeded.
Are you changing what you're doing to try to compensate for their misinformation, or are you just going to play it the way you originally intended?
No, I need those 50 bronze shards to get the next star. So I'm gonna bite the bullet and do it. I have the cores. It just so happens it lines up with the passes, so I got a big core influx. Okay. And we're taking it a little bit easier on the raid right now. We're not forcing ourselves to do 2 or 3 mutant lanes. Okay. So I'm not dropping cores there anymore either. Gotcha.
Now, this event, not everything about it is bad. There's some good things, and one thing I did want to mention, to be fair, is the store, because there's some decent stuff in the store. I haven't seen them yet, but apparently Valkyrie and Jane Foster are also in the store, which is good. There's some of the most rare items in this game. There's our catalysts, our orange catalysts here, which are super rare. What are you buying in this store? What are you leaning towards? Some teal gear? Are you leaning towards that very rare orange catalyst, or are you just holding out for character shards?
So I'm just kind of buying what I see that appeals to me at the moment. So I did get some Mighty Thor shards. I haven't seen Valkyrie yet, but both of those characters, though they're unfarmable, so I would like to farm them as much as I can. There's no way I'm going to reach the next star on them because I'm at 6 star, but I'm at the beginning of farming that 300 shards for the 7 star. So I don't think that's going to be feasible to get 300 shards from them here. So I'm going to take them when I can get them, but I'm not dead set on them only. Other than that, I'm taking some Mystic Teal gear that I'm finding. I want to do my Spider Weaver because she's needed for Apocalypse, and I'm basically drained on Mystic Teal gear. And then I'm doing SBCs because, well, we have to fully gear this new Underworld team. And I don't have enough SBCs, so.
Do we? I know you guys need to because you're a hardcore War Alliance.
Yeah.
Does the rest of the community need to?
No.
Okay. No. Well, we'll get into that a little bit more. Now, we were mentioning them. The QA team is hanging out with Gambit and Rogue because they're nowhere to be found. They're supposed to be in the game as of yesterday, but not there right now. If we look at what it says, don't miss out on character charge for a high profile mutant and a young Avenger upcoming on September 14th. Yesterday, Gambit entering the supply store, Ultimus Orb, Basic Premium Orb. He'll be replacing Captain Marvel. And over in the War store, which I don't think she is there. I don't have any reports of her actually being there. Echo was supposed to be in the War store. So what do you think happened? Are they missing a day? I mean, they've been late on things before, but what is going on with this?
It's something's broken. There's something fundamentally wrong with the game right now that all these issues are happening, and we have not been told, even in the Envoy program, about any action that is coming. The fact that Gambit's not in here, I'm sure Echo's not in the store, because otherwise I would have seen it from somebody, because I sounded out the horn there to see if anyone could show me a picture of her. I've got nothing. So I think there is literally something fundamentally wrong with the game that they're not able to make changes to the structure, like a simple task of adding somebody to an orb or adding somebody to a store. And I don't know if they're just short-staffed, if they have like a walkout of all their employees or something, but there's something fundamentally wrong that these simple things are not getting done.
Yeah, I agree. Where's the accountability? Why are they not doing what they said? They said there's going to be there on the 14th in their blog post just from a few days ago, and the 14th goes, still not there. So Scopely, you guys need to honor your statements, because right now your word means hardly anything. You guys say things are going to be there and they're not. Things don't get fixed. Things are not working. We're getting very little communication. I don't know what is going on there. Apparently they're making enough money, so I don't think the game is in trouble, but something is going on there. They're not doing their jobs properly. Now, the other thing that was miscommunicated in past blog posts is this. This is the kit for Spider Weaver. And if we go down, it says that on turn, bury yourself for 15% of this character's max health. But when you go in game, what it says is only in Crucible, she's gonna bury herself for 15% of her max health. So why was this not communicated? Was this changed? What happened with this, DorkyDad?
I'm guessing this was changed. Are we gonna talk about her in a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about her now, because my other thing is, does this even matter? Because I'm hearing reports, especially from you, of how dominant she is right now. So does it matter that the barrier doesn't go on there? No,
this character is bonkers. This character is Kestrel 2.0. Just insane. Her kit is nuts. That lowering accuracy is great, but then she also has stun and trauma. She's super tanky, surprisingly. I don't even know where she's getting it from, because she's not getting that kind of barrier. And she hits like a truck, too. So it's only in Crucible. I'm actually okay with that, because otherwise she might be too oppressive in modes like War Defense, where we're seeing a lot of her right now. But yeah, I don't think it matters. I mean, what it does mean is that if she's this hard to deal with now, when the Crucible season starts, you get that full Tangled team in there, it's gonna be pretty crazy.
Now, one of the things that you said as far as use for her right now, she doesn't even have her full team, but pairing her with the Underworld team, the newly reworked Underworld team, and they're very, very dominant on War Defense, which doesn't seem like that was their intent. They're supposed to be a war offense team. They're supposed to be able to counter the Dormhold. That didn't work. We never got footage of that. They said that we would get that before the embargo list. That never came. So I guess they cannot beat the Darkhold and Dormhold because we all got footage of them losing. They can be Darkhold, but not Dormhold?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, we didn't get footage of that either. We got footage of a big loss from them, so...
And we asked for it, too. The second we saw the loss footage, we were like, hey, can we get the Darkhold team at least so we have something to show that's not a loss?
Nope, because we have so many fighters.
Yeah, exactly.
So, with that said, they look like they're valuable right now.
Yeah.
If a player has unlocked Spider Weaver already, is it worth it for them to upgrade their Underworld right now, considering what they could do on War defense?
Only if you care about War. If you don't care about War, this team is not for you. This team doesn't function outside of War. Basically, it's the Taskmaster speed and all the insane damage and assists this team has inside War. They don't have that speed outside War, so they get easily controlled and taken apart.
Okay. Now, as far as what you're seeing from Spider Weaver, does that lead you to believe that these Tangled Web characters are going to be better than expected in Cosmic Crucible? Because I'm not sure what I was expecting with this team. But now that we have more characters with that Spider-Verse tag, we know how crazy Spider Weaver is actually in game. Is this team going to perform better than expected and be harder to counter on War Crucible's defense?
Yeah, I think this team is going to be bonkers annoying to deal with, especially in that room 3. So the way I envision this team is going to have Green Goblin and Mr. Negative as the 2 pieces with it. And then you get to keep your Eternals, and you get to keep your Cloaking Dagger, whatever you want to do. Just with the mind control for Mr. Negative, and then Green Goblin hitting us so hard. They're getting offense up from Weaver when she uses her special at one point. This team is going to be bonkers hard to deal with. Yeah.
So even if you're not upgrading your full Underworld character, still have some value for Green Goblin right now, and Mr. Negative when he eventually comes in for Crucible, even if War is something you don't care about.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Green Goblin's rework is really, really strong, especially whenever he has the chance to hit a stealth character. That character just gets blown up.
Okay. But you're not going to invest and buy these guys early just because of all the bugs. I'm kind of missing out on Spider Weaver. I want that character, but just taking a stand, I cannot buy that character with all the bugs and the non-response and non-communication that they have right now. But Spider Weaver does have an event coming up. And for that event, you're going to need these Tangled Web characters. Have you looked at these characters? Who has this tag? And if so, what characters are you leaning towards? Actually, let me uncheck that out. What characters are you leaning towards for the event when this Tangled Web characters are needed for, or not Tangled Web, I keep going the wrong one. It's the Vigilant characters. Which Vigilant characters do you think are going to be worth it for her event when it comes live? I'm seeing a lot of great characters. I mean, Morgan Le Fay and Shang-Chi, if you have those characters, you could probably just auto through this. But maybe someone doesn't have Morgan Le Fay. Who would you recommend them building up for this event? Newer players, mid-game players.
Okay, so this is my first time looking at this list with you. I'm seeing lots of great characters that I have. But as far as new and mid-game players, if you don't have Morgan, that sucks. Shang-Chi and the Web Warriors for sure, because you're going to get use out of them in a bunch of areas. Wong, if you have Wong, would be a nice fit. He'll be pretty tanky, though without a Doctor Strange, he loses some benefit.
What about Shuri? Would you upgrade an older character like Shuri? I know she's lost a lot of value because of the Bionic Avengers, but is she still worth bringing up for Cosmic Crucible?
Yeah, if you're into Crucible, the Wakandans smack, and just because they don't have a designated room or an obvious designated room like they did last season, doesn't mean they're going to be bad this season. So if you have a big stars on your Wakandans, I love them. I have so much fun with them, and they are a team that functions outside of Crucible. They get that speed up on spawn in all modes, and that's just nuts. So if you have Shuri and you plan on investing in Wakandans, Shuri and Black Panther here, they'd be a great fit.
I've missed Black Panther. Yeah, okay. So a lot of decent characters, a lot of decent options for this thing. And let's go back to this Underworld team, because we talked about Mr. Negative being probably one of the better characters for this Underworld team and the Tangled Web team. Mm-hmm. What is his value outside of Crucible and War, or is it just in those two game modes that you're going to find value for Mr. Negative?
Right now, I would say it's just in those two game modes, but this team reeks of Scourge for death to me. They kind of fit that same mold that Ravagers fit, right? They have the one new character. It's actually newer than what T'Challa will be for the War Scourge, so I could see them being a Death Scourge team.
Okay, yeah. I think they will be. I think they're going to be a trap team. Do you think they're going to replace the Bionic Avengers as like your major team? Do you see enough value in what you're seeing in their kits right now to replace the Bionic Avengers, which has already been announced for death? Or this is kind of just build them if you want. They'll give you some extra value. They might be like a sacrifice team, kind of like the Inhumans.
I don't think they'd be better than Bionic Avengers, and they're certainly not as invest safety in them. That's not what I meant to say. It's not as safe to invest in them as it is to invest in the Bionic Avengers, because Bionic Avengers have that raid use, right? Which is going to be great for a long time. Would they be good? They're pretty slow, but if you can get them into a node where it's not necessarily dangerous right off the bat, then I do think this team can still snowball with their minions and their control and everything like that the Taskmaster eventually brings. I think they'd be okay. I think they'd be better than what, say, a full Wave 1 will be against the War Scourge.
Okay. And would you push hard for this character, however he's released, whatever event they're going to do to release this character? Is this someone you really push hard and gear up as soon as possible, or wait?
For me, it's tough because I have to for War. I'm in a very War competitive alliance. I'm in Masters for Crucible, so I kind of feel like I need all the shiny new toys. So I will probably try and get as much shards on him as I can and level him up as fast as I can. But right now, like, my Kingpin is level 4. And I still need to finish leveling up Web Weaver. And so I have so many projects and just nowhere near enough gold Training Master T4s to do half of them.
It's artificial scarcity. They've created it, and when you want all the teams, you're gonna run out of something. Now, as far as this Underworld team, the reworks, one of the best ones that you mentioned so far is Green Goblin, just having him hit. What do you think of having him hit like a truck? You said. What do you think of these other reworks? Taskmaster, Kingpin, Nobu. Is Nobu now worth putting some resources in?
So the stars of the team, right now they're being used with Spider Weaver, which she's a big part of it. But the star of the team is Taskmaster, followed closely by Green Goblin. And then you have Nobu and Kingpin just doing kit-based stuff. So if you want to heavily invest in the team just to make it work while being cheap, go heavy on Taskmaster, go heavy on Green Goblin, and then just get the right T4s onto Kingpin and Nobu.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I like that. I guess you don't have to invest too much. There's 3 main characters you have to build instead of 5. So that's good. Now, one of the major things that we were wondering about that got announced right before the patch notes was a new tag, the Spider-Verse tag. Kingpin now has a tag, and Mr. Negative is going to have that Spider-Verse tag. And if we go in game right now, he does have that Spider-Verse tag. How big is this that they've gotten those tags? And this is probably mainly for Crucible and the Tangled Web team. Does this like put them over the top on that Crucible Tangled Web team?
Actually, yeah. I didn't know Kingpin got the tag. I know Mr. Negative did, but Kingpin getting the tag might change things up. He might be better than Green Goblin on that team for Crucible because he
just because of the tag.
Yeah, he gets a bunch of buffs, doesn't he? And I think his taunting minion spawns in even outside War.
You know what? Now that I think about it, the minions for Kingpin might make it very hard to kill this team and time out if you're placing these guys on defense. So possibly, maybe defense for Kingpin, offense for Green Goblin. Is that?
I mean, Kingpin giving. I think he gives offense up too on turn 1 and safeguard. So when the initial safeguard runs off, he can throw another one up. I can see Kingpin bringing a lot to this team, especially with the Tangled Web. I think they're going to hit very hard, so they may not even need Green Goblin. Kingpin might be the better control option or the soft option.
Okay. So good. All right. Other thing that was announced in this blog, and I think this is a good thing, a slight nerf to Red Hulk, but I think that's a good thing. This only happens once per war, so if you're using the Gamma team on offense, no change at all. But if you're using them on defense, kind of aligning what they did with those war changes, which unfortunately were reverted, making it a little easier to get through this. How does this affect you? Is this a positive or a negative for you? Were you thinking of placing them on offense or defense for this Gamma team?
This is a giant positive, and I don't think just for me. I think for everybody, especially if you're one of those alliances that kind of bounces back and forth between being in the top 8 of your war zone and then not. So this will help you two-tap the team, right? Like instead of going in to try and one-shot it, you can maybe send a cheaper option in there, like, I don't know, like Shadowlands or X-Force, right? And you go in there, you hit enough times that Red Hulk's passive pops off, and then you don't have to worry about it on the follow-up hit, and maybe you can go in there with Eternals or something else at that point. So I think this is good for the health of the war meta. It just is, especially now that Underworld is being showed to be a monster G team.
maybe the correct counter to that is actually the Gamma team.
There you go.
We're going to use them on offense. Now, other thing that was detailed is a new raid event going live in a couple days, going live tomorrow. Raid of Fortune. Score points is a 5-day milestone for earning raid credits and spending power cores. Do you think that they will remove the orbs for Spider-Weaver and Brawn and Abomination before this event goes live about spending power cores?
Sounds like it. Sounds like it.
That's the typical Scopely MO.
Yeah.
All right, but we're also getting some rewards. Raid team character shards. Who do you think this is gonna be? Is gonna be Iceman, Kitty Pryde, Sharon Carter, or someone a little more recent? Who are your predictions for this?
I think this will be characters that have a raid tag on them. So maybe Deathpool, Cloak and Dagger, Axemen, Web Warriors, Hope to God, not Symbiotes. Who else has raid tags? Bionic Avengers have raid tags, so that would be pretty good to get some more of them. But I think on the whole, there'll be a lot of duds and then just a couple shining examples. Now, if Scopely wants to be cool about it, even though Eternals, I don't believe, get raid tags, they'll throw Eternals in there. That would be a good little gesture because Eternals are used on the Mystic team, right?
Yeah.
Kestrel is used in the skill section, so it'd be cool if they put her in there. Even though I have her finished, that'd be best for everyone else. Secret Avengers should be in there, even though they're completely farmable.
Yes. All right. When the rest of the stuff looks pretty good as well. Armory 17 orbs, which we're getting in this Blitz event for Amadeus show, by the way. So, but 2 awesome pieces of armor of the teal uniques. Elite 4 and 5 credits, which is good. T2 level 4 irons, which is good. Gold and dark promo credits, all that stuff is good. Hopefully this is not too grindy, and hopefully it's just stuff we're doing anyway. Maybe spending minimal power cores, but obviously.
Oh, they say at the bottom.
Probably not.
They say at the bottom, don't miss your chance to get Bionic Avenger shards. So maybe it's just Bionic Avenger characters.
Oh, okay. I highlighted it, but I didn't miss it. So yeah, maybe the raid team is the Bionic Avengers. Thanks for catching that.
That'd be dope. Yeah.
All right, so that could be pretty good. All right, we got some new costumes, and other than the T-posing that these do, and then disabling it and not actually able to use some of these costumes, I kind of like the variety that they bring into the game. So we got 3 new ones. The first one is Famine. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like this costume? 1 being you hate it, 10 being like this is one of the best costumes in the game. Where does Rogue's costume rank for you?
Oh man, it's hard to beat that classic Rogue look for me.
Okay.
The green and yellow suit from like the animated series is hard to beat. Like this looks cool if it was a different character. Like it looks cool, but this is the iconic Rogue look. I won't equip this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna equip this when she's on the X-Men, and then I think what I'll do when I have Apocalypse, equip these weird just so they match, Now, speaking of matching, we got another costume in the game that is black and white. The first one was on Scarlet Witch here. The second one was on Vision. And now we have one on Elsa Bloodstone. Where the heck is she? She is somewhere. We have a costume for her, which looks pretty cool, but unfortunately it's in black and white. So now we have 3 different characters on 3 different teams that are black and white. Is this one that you're excited for? And it looks like this is from the Marvel Studios Werewolf by Night, which should probably be coming soon.
Yeah, so that did you see the trailer for that?
I did. Looks like one of those old 50s horror movies.
Yeah, I think it looks dope. I'm definitely excited to watch that. It's cool that they put this in, but to your point earlier about Rogue, she just sits out like a sore thumb if you have this skin on in the Dark Hunter team. Same with Scarlet Witch. I have that skin, but I have it turned off because it just looks weird. It looks awful.
Yeah. Doesn't match your team. Doesn't match the rest of the team.
Exactly. We are high fashion here at the Valley Club in the Dorky Den, and if your clothes don't match your team, you're out of here.
Yeah, we're going to call the fashion police on you, your whatever team you're using. All right, last but not least, I think this is my favorite new costume in the game because this brings back memories from my childhood. I don't know what costume Wolverine was wearing when you first started reading comics and looking at that. This was what Wolverine was wearing when I first started looking at comics. So this is something I hope is going to be readily available, not as exclusive as this Weapon X skin, which I think initially cost about $100 if you wanted to unlock it.
Yeah,
I like this one. What do you like, this one, or do you like the old yellow costume or the Weapon X the best for Wolverine?
I definitely do not like the Weapon X one. The Weapon X one, Diaper Wolverine, does not appeal to me. These two Wolverines they're pretty even to me as far as appeal goes. Now I agree with you. This is the more iconic one where he has those the boots that kind of come up to the knee that split off. Yeah, which is what I was used to when I think that was how he was in the animated series. So I do like this. It seems like a cool little shout out. There's something to me with his shoulders and his neck that looks weird. It looks a lot like an Attack on Titan character almost. To me, when you look at him from the front,
he's very contorted in a weird position. He doesn't look very comfortable. Yeah,
exactly. Which I guess is par for the course for Wolverine. But this one looks cool. I would equip this one.
Okay, I like it. This is my favorite of the bunch. Now, this is something big for you that is coming up. Cosmic Crucible. Season 1. I know you've already put a lot of thought into this. Let me just get your quick reaction to some of these changes that are coming up. Then we'll talk about these different rooms. But the new league subdivisions, this is what scares me. And we're going from 6 leagues to 19 leagues. But what this says is, don't worry. Doesn't say all. The vast majority of players will be earning comparable rewards, not better rewards, comparable rewards, if not better than before. So either you're gonna get less if you're in that small section of players. Majority of players will get either the same thing or a little better. Does this make you fearful considering all the things that Scopely's been doing recently over the past few weeks?
Well, let me just clear the record here. Comparable does not mean identical. So when they say earning comparable, they mean you're going to be earning a little bit less, but you shouldn't feel too bad because it's just a little bit, guys. Don't feel bad about that.
Oh, kind of like the T4s and the war rewards. Comparable, but for some people, it's hundreds and hundreds of less per week.
Exactly. So look, I'm not worried about this. I'm pretty confident I'll be able to climb back at least to wherever I felt I was before. I'm actually happy that they're going to have more static points for these divisions, but it does give me the feeling that it's going to be a lot like War, where it's very slow to climb from division to division because they're doing 19 instead of 6 of them. So it feels like it'll be a long grind if you're starting from the bottom to climb up.
Speaking of those war rewards, when do you think those are going to be fixed? I didn't actually look if they got fixed in this update, but I know those raid season rewards did not get fixed. They've been reverted to what they were 2 years ago. What is going on with that? Why are they so slow to fix those? They said it was going to be fixed before the season, then that didn't go through, then it's to be fixed in the update. No mention was ever made on these raid rewards going back to what they were before the teal and all that stuff was added. So when do you think those are going to be fixed?
Oh God, probably a day before Gambit gets added. So who knows?
Oh, so like in 2027.
There's so many problems right now with the structure of the game. My God.
They gotta fix so much things. They've broken so much over the past few weeks. All right, updated rewards. They started going to get more stuff. This is an important bullet point. We have 3 teams now.
Yeah.
And then the improvements. Now, this one is probably my favorite here. Commonly requested is getting your top powered characters, not auto-filling in your slots. For me, I've lost a few Crucible matches because of this auto-filling and hitting it a couple times because of the lag in there. Have you lost any? Is this going to help you, not having it auto-fill?
So for the entire season, this did not affect me whatsoever. Very happy to say that. And then in my very last Crucible, this happened to me. Now, I don't know if this cost me the win, but it definitely cost me lots of anger. So I'm happy that this will not happen again.
That's an awesome change, in my opinion. Yeah. I think I did it 2 times in one stream because of all the lag on BlueStacks, which seems to be getting worse and worse and worse every single update.
Yeah.
All right, now the big thing. This is a huge change.
Yep.
All right, so mutants, hero mutants, more damage reduction, more focus. The big thing here is the Dormammu counter. Hero mutants, clearing revive once, and immunity from all enemies. So Dormammu, Infinity Watch. There's probably other characters that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. How big is this global change?
This global change is huge, and it's going to give us some more options, both for offense and defense, especially when you look at teams like Uncanny, X Factor, and Astonishing X-Men with that focus and the resistance in particular. The damage is super nice, don't get me wrong, but it's the resistance and the focus that's going to affect both offense and defense. So a team like X Factor, that focus will help Shatterstar land his defense down that he doesn't land outside war. And then they might kind of, with that damage and then the focus, they'll be able to kind of emulate what they do on war offense. So that's going to be pretty cool to have more options there. And then basically this says, if you throw Dormammu in defense, you're doing that at your own risk. A single hero mutant nullifies his passive, which I think is great. And that makes me think of a character like X-23, who's a good plug and play. And taking her from X Factor doesn't matter because you don't really use that team there. So I think this is a really fun global rule. We're going to see if this 500% resistance is too much and it leads to too many problems on Crucible defense, particularly in room 6.
Probably.
Yeah.
This is probably tested not at all. I mean, or just said, all right, let's add this arbitrary number. 1,000's too much. 100 is a little too little. Let's go 500%. And they just probably pulled it out and didn't test this at all is what it's going to be, because we are the testers. If we play it and we're spending a lot of money, then they're going to keep it like that. If we play it and we start to spend less money, then they're like, hey, there could be a problem here. Let's adjust these things. And that's
right.
Seems how things go. All right, for now, additional characters that I'm thinking of. You mentioned X-23 already. Cable. I know people already use Cable because of that, the speed that he offers. As soon as he takes a turn, removing all that immunity. How much does this do for Cable? And are other characters like Axeman going to be affected now?
Yeah, I don't think it does anything for Cable because he dies to like a soft breeze in the wind. So he may not actually take a turn. He may not fulfill his.
That's true. A lot of he does die before his first turn. And I'm thinking, now that I think about that again.
Yeah, so not so much Cable, but Axemen I think are going to be pretty crazy this season, especially if you've invested them into to Hang and Doom 3.4 or higher or lower.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I just pulled a 7-star. I wanted it on Spiderweaver, but I got it on Jubilee. So not what I wanted, but not the worst pull either. What do you think for these rooms? Obviously, Spider-Mania is going to be Tangled Web and 2 others. Any other choices you're thinking for this room? Maybe some backup symbiotes until we get the Tangled Web, or if someone doesn't want to invest in Tangled Web, symbiotes, or maybe even the Web Warriors.
No, before Spider-Weaver was released, I was looking at this room the same way I looked at Stage 1 and 2. Just pretend it does nothing, because there was no Spider-Verse characters worth anything. But now that Spider-Weaver is in the game and we see her potential, making a team around her, I think, would be good. Kingpin, he's going to have value here. Obviously, Mr. Negative not doing his thing yet. Green Goblin and Kingpin both have that Spider-Verse tag, so if you have them big, throw in Spider-Weaver, and then I think you'll throw in 2 probably non-Spider-Verse characters, or maybe you'll throw Doc Ock in here. Some synergy with Green Goblin there. It's more interesting now that Spider Weaver's in the game. She's had a direct instant impact the second she hit for this room in my head. As far as theory crafting goes, there's lots of options to build around her.
Got it. Now, latent power global heroes. Are you placing the Wakandans here in stage 4? Or are you going to use them offensively?
That's redundant. So the way it goes is at the end of turn. So Okoye goes and then she gets offense up. Cool. Black Panther goes and then he gets offense up. Cool. But what you fail to remember, not you, but in general, is Black Panther is giving Black Panther is getting 2 turns of offense up on his first turn anyway. So it's redundant. It doesn't matter. Other global heroes that you might think to throw in there, Bionic Avengers, but Bionic Avengers get offense up for 2 turns again, so it's just redundant. The only team that I saw in my head that I was like, Gamma, yeah.
Gamma? All right, so Gamma here, and then Wakandan's stage 5?
Well, so Gamma would also work in stage 5 as well. Which one will be better on defense? I don't know. I think Gamma will definitely be better on offense in room 4. For stage 5, I was actually thinking of Young Avengers or even A-Force for defense. Now, A-Force innately does offense down with Spider-Woman on her opening attack, but you don't control where the AI goes. So the AI could potentially only put the offense down on 2 people. Well, then Captain Marvel will come in and put another one out there because of this room. So A-Force might be a little bit tricky on defense here. And then Young Avengers, the Squirrel Girl, the Miss Marvel. You can shove Miles Morales in there if you want. They'll be good there. And you could also just throw full Web Warriors in here. I don't think it'll survive Bionic Avengers. I don't think it's going to beat Bionic Avengers with this room, but I think it'll slow them down a little bit. You might take 1 or 2 extra turns of efficiency off them.
Okay. Now, this last room, it looks freaking crazy.
This last room
Legendary characters on spawn, 3 turns of defense up and safeguard. They gain 50% extra damage, and on turn, removing all negative effects from self, and they gain speed up. Darkhold or some kind of hybrid team with all these legendaries in there? What are you leaning toward, or something else?
So a lot of people were talking about mashing all the horsemen together, even Red Hulk when he comes out. I think that would be overkill. I think that'd be a mistake because I'd find a way to safely 2-tap that using my unlimited team. But maybe if you just smash 2 teams together in there, like if you did unlimited but with Morgan instead of Phantom X, I could see that being crazy because if you're trying to deal with my unlimited team, you gotta first control my rogue. But the second you stop to control my rogue, then my Morgan's gonna get a turn. Now my Morgan has safeguard defense up, cool. 50% damage on Morgan is insane, and you cannot control my Morgan unless you hit her with a stun, ability block, and trauma. Because if you stun, she'll clear the stun first, then take her turn, and then gain speed up. We got that confirmed in the Envoy chat. So unless you're hitting them with trauma, there is no way to control these legendary characters, which means Morgan Rogue are going to be a monster team together because you got to pick one, and then the other one's just going to...
I don't even know how to counter that. I don't even know how I would counter that right now. That's horrible. I hope I don't run into that on defense. This looks like a defensive turtle nightmare with all these new rooms, and we're getting less Crucible stuff for that. So thank you for adding all those defensive bonuses, Scopely. This not as fun. All right, but I know you have fun with the Scourges, and we got some new data mines about all these Scourges. Let's first talk about these node requirements. And of course, these are data mines. These are subject to change, but I don't know what would be different than any official information that we get from Scopely, because obviously that has no accountability. That is always subject to change. So take this just as if it is official communication. So nodes 1 and 2 bio. Doesn't seem that bad. We have a lot of options there. Are there specific characters that came to your top of your head when you thought about bio?
Well, the node compositions were also leaked. So
we'll get to that. We got all that and the Scourges. Okay. We're doing this one at a time.
Okay, so just know I'm giving this with that in mind. I love Gamma in there. Like the second I unlock a 3 Red Star Hulk, I think he'll be viable with a fully built other Gamma character team. I like Web Warriors in there. And somebody in my YouTube comments had mentioned, you could go Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, and a bunch of brawlers like Captain Marvel and some symbiotes and stuff like that. So I think there's lots of options for bio, those being the 3 big ones. So Gamma, Web Warriors, and a Hero Brawler bio edition.
Okay, and I'm probably going to be saving my Young Avengers for the next nodes here.
Yeah.
Nodes 3 and 4, where we have the Avengers tag, and there's a lot of different options, but I think the Young Avengers are going to be the best option there. Because you probably want to save all of your Wave 1 Avengers for nodes 5 and 10. We also have the Bionic Avengers. So who are you leaning towards right now, just as far as the Avengers there?
So for node 3, I definitely plan to go in there with my Young Avengers and finish it off. Okay. For nodes 4, I want to send in a team that's going to, or it could be node 3 or 4, it doesn't really matter. But I want to find a team that I can send in that's going to clear 80 to 85% of it. Because then I want to go back in with my Thor, maybe my Hulk, and I want to prep their cooldowns. And if I can get Thor 1 charge away from popping off with his passive and then having his AoE stun ready, and then you're going to reset until you get a stun on literally the entire first wave of that node, then I want to set it up like that. So yeah, I'm going to use Young Avengers, and then I want to find a team that I could use as a sacrifice, but will also get most of the way through a node.
Any use for your Bionic Avengers, you're thinking?
Yeah, I think Bionic Avengers.
We do have some overlap with Iron Man having that Wave 1 and the normal Avengers tag. So would that be a trap, or are you going to use them?
I don't know if I'm going to need Iron Man for nodes 5 and 10. So I might be okay with him dying there. The characters I'd be mindful of using, like you just brought up, you don't want to have Hulk and Thor go in there and get beat up a bunch. Probably same with Iron Man. We'll see.
Secret Avengers too. You probably want to be careful with them as well, because you need them later in the skill section. So yeah, this is a lot tricky. I like when we could just go with Icarus and Cersei and just smash everything. That was so fun.
We have one section like that. We're gonna get to it.
All right, yeah, the easy section, villain. There's so many good villains. I mean, if you're an endgame player, you shouldn't have too much trouble getting through villains. Dormammu, Morgan Le Fay, Omega Red. Do we even need to describe that section?
No, we don't.
All right, that should be pretty easy getting through that. And then the challenging one, if you don't have enough skill characters, will be that skill section. We already mentioned the Secret Avengers. Any other characters stand out in your mind? I mean, obviously, Shang-Chi, you're probably bringing him up if you have him. Taskmaster just got a rework, so he's a skill character as well. Any other characters that you're thinking of bringing in, or are you just going to use your raid team for this, your skill section raid team?
Yeah, I'm leaning skill section raid team, and if you're really struggling with a node, I think you can do a prep attack with it. You can throw in characters like Zemo, your Infinity Watch, if you have your Wakandans built up, you can throw them in. You mentioned Taskmaster. So I think you have 2 teams here. You have your main team designed to beat the nodes, and you have a backup team meant to either prep the node or to finish the final node off if your first team died at the end of node 9, I guess it would be.
Okay. Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna wait for your guide. I'm gonna wait for you to do all the heavy lifting and just follow that, because that seems to be the easiest, not the easiest path, but yeah, the easiest path, not the least time-consuming path, but the easiest path. All right. So that is the node requirements. In these data mines, we also got some of the new Scourges, and we will get to all these the waves in just a little bit. But were there any Scourges that really stood out in your mind? Some look very challenging, some look not too challenging. Dark Resolve, Bleeder 2, Pyrrhic Victory. Anything that you remember off the top of your head? Some of these down here I remember were pretty weird. Like one of them just mentions a Fortifier character using an ultimate ability. I mean,
effect, yeah.
just don't put Fortifier on them, right?
Well, it actually spreads it to adjacent allies. So I think the butterfly effect is a double-edged sword. I think that's Fortifier enemies will spread it to their allies, but I think also your fortified characters are going to spread to your characters, which would be pretty cool, right? So if you have Sif use her ultimate, then you may be able to spread defense up, immunity, and counters like that. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, now that I'm reading it, that makes more sense. I was trying to remember it, but it was actually good stuff for you.
Yeah, it's a little awkward, right? The one that you mentioned, Pyrrhic Resolve, I think it was, or it was up, Pure Victory. I don't know if we're going to have both of them. So these are new Scourges. I think this is going to be added to our list, or maybe this is the entire list. I don't know. But Pure Victory used to be if you block, you get stunned. Now that would have been a full-on no-go because we're relying on Young Avengers for nodes 3 and 4, but also we're relying on, say, Sif for nodes 5 and 10. But now if it's just heal block, this still hurts your Sif, right? Because you want her to have that passive heal, but it's more manageable and it might actually be one that comes into play. Whereas if it's stunned, that it wouldn't be in play at all.
What about any of these on the enemies? You know, enemy dropping below a certain percent, you're gonna get speed up. An innovator character ends their turn, they gain defense up, deflect, death proof, vulnerable.
Safeguard.
How challenging are these gonna be for you? Is this even worth applying and testing out, or are they just some of these just too challenging?
The rope-a-dope one with the vulnerable seems really tough. The fight or flight one with the percent max health, what percent max health is going to determine that? If it's when they hit 75% max health or 50% max health, I don't think that's doable. If it's like 15 or 25% max health, that might be okay because you can finish them off before they get to go. But I could see that snowballing you, which would be a problem. And another big question we don't know here, these nodes look pretty tough for our Hero Asgardians and for your Ravager team to take on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to be doing difficulty 9 and 10 again, right? So for Morgan Le Fay, we stuck to difficulty 8. For Rogue, we went to difficulty 10. So it's going to depend where that falls, because if we're just doing difficulty 8, we may be able to put a couple extra ones on and just have Thor literally drop the hammer on him and clear a wave, and then set it up to be easy on the way out. It's going to depend.
All right, I agree with that. Now, this last but not least, as far as data mines, we get that node information. Some of these characters seem very challenging. You know, we have a Phyla-Vell and a Jessica Jones on the same wave. Ghost Rider is always challenging. Shang-Chi is challenging. We got a Kestrel dropping down there. But let me go down to nodes 5 and 10. How much of a problem is this going to be for the Hero Asgardians to do this on their own? Will we need other characters like a Yondu, like a T'Challa, maybe Iron Man, Hulk to kind of bring this and complete this node?
So the first character I look at, the only one I can see a problem happening with is Omega Red. Yeah, you got him right there because he's fast, right? He's faster than the Heroes Guardians. He's gonna go before you. He won't go before T'Challa though. I think T'Challa's got some speed on him, so you can get a blind, steal some energy, and maybe your Ravagers take on this node, or maybe you go with your Heroes Guardians, but you do a burn attack first, where you send in, say you have a very weak Hawkeye. You send in just Hawkeye. He only pulls the Omega Red special, and then he's dead. And then you send in just Black Widow, and Black Widow dies instantly to the Omega Red ultimate. And then you go in, all the other characters are fresh, is what you prefer, right? Because you don't want Heartless to be about to ult. And then you have an easier time with it. So I can see doing a burner attack, and then Hero Asgardians can handle it. I can see a very big Ravagers team being able to handle this with enough turn meter manipulation, enough resets to get Boomer to actually be doing his assists, so he's putting slows out on more people. This node doesn't look nearly as bad as, say, Morgan Le Fay's node 5 with the pre-taunts and the cloak and dagger.
Oh yeah, how many resets do you think it's going to take for Omega Red? And if you're bringing in burner teams like a Black Widow or a Hawkeye, like you mentioned, are you not going to be able to complete that on the when your allies dies, they get ability energy or some weird effect on them? Is that you're going to have to remove that for your run?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Node 10. We got a full Bionic Avengers here. How challenge? We got a Bishop and Jubilee. We got a Rescue that clears off debuffs. Vision that flips the debuffs. How challenging is Node 10 gonna be?
Node 10 looks pretty tough. They stacked some blinds in there, right? Especially with the Bishop Jubilee. Jubilee's gonna be putting a lot of blinds out because she's gonna be getting all the assists from Bishop. And then you have the Vision as well, so they're kind of leaning into making you use Heimdall here, it looks. A good saving grace here is that in that first wave, Ironheart is only going to give defense up to the Powered Armor team. She will not give it to Hulkbuster, she will not give it to Vision. Okay. So you may be able to snipe them out before the next wave drops in, right? Because they definitely don't want Vision, Hulkbuster to be on the same field as Deathlock and Vision, because then you're having that energy spam that the enemies do, and that could be a problem. So here as well, I can see if you didn't use Ravagers on 5, you can send Ravagers in here and snipe a couple characters out, and then maybe you clear it up with your hero as Guardian. But yeah, node 10 looks to be the nightmare node here. And it's going to be take some finesse to get through it. I have some ideas. Again, coming in there with, say, Thor Ultimate ready to go, and he just drops a quick stun on everybody. Then you can kind of slow play it, gather up some cooldowns you might have lost from node 5 and go about it that way. Or even if you can go in there with Ravagers, again, just control it and then slow play it so you have a bunch of those minions from Yondu up who do turn meter rewind. I can see that all kind of coming together and getting us through this node.
Now, what's some strategy that people used previously is equipping a lot of Scourges, getting through nodes 1 through 4, finishing node 5 with your teams 6, 7, 8, and 9, and stopping there and still putting in a good score to, rank high in the rank rewards and complete all the milestones. Just based on the challenge that you're going to face in node 10, do you think that would be a viable strategy for a lot of players, just to skip node 10 and just score through node 9?
Yeah, so if the difficulty breakdown is maxed at like difficulty 8 for this one, I think people can do difficulty 9 maybe and fight their way all the way through node 9 and just leave node 10 and get a better score that way. Same thing if you're struggling to get through difficulty 7 100%, maybe you can jump it up to difficulty 8 and just do 9 nodes and get a better score that way as well.
Use all your heroes, Guardians, Ravagers, Wave 1 Avengers on node 5 and just say screw node 10.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so that, I might end up doing that depending on what we need for these scores here. All right, and last but not least, this is going to be pretty quick because we did run a little longer than I thought. Episode 4 of She-Hulk. Spoiler warning, guys, we are going to discuss episode 4. We're not discussing episode 5, which was released today. And we're discussing it in 3, 2, 1. What did you think of episode 4 and our new introduction into the MCU, Madison, with a Y, but not where you would expect?
I enjoyed it. Look, it was a very goofy episode. You're getting what you should have expected by now if you've been watching the show, right? You're getting goofy humor. It's very sitcom-like. It's not the serious MCU type show like Loki was or WandaVision was. It's just fun. And I had fun with this episode. I thought Madison was hilarious. The other magician guy, he's kind of funny. I kept waiting for his
name was almost like Ghost Rider. Donnie Blaze instead of Johnny Blaze.
Exactly. I kept waiting for his assistant guy who kept trying to egg him on to be some kind of like extra evil person, but it just never came to fruition.
Just an old assistant guy. I think the actor was like 104 or something like that as well. So the oldest actor in MCU.
But it was fun, and it was cool. The evil bat pigs or whatever they were, I thought they were well done. I keep thinking like, oh, people hate on the CGI here, but when I saw them, I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm a little less positive about this episode. I like episode 1 through 3. This one, I was like, what the hell's going on? Why don't you just take the sling ring back from Donnie Blaze, end it? There's no reason for this trial.
Yeah, what's going to stop Wong, right?
Madison, I think I liked her a lot less than majority of the community. All right, but
she's a Valley girl.
Well, is that a good thing or a bad thing, though? Yeah. All right, last but not least, Titania coming back. Titania, however you pronounce it, suing She-Hulk.
Yeah.
What are you expecting? Is she going to be the major villain, or is it that wrecking crew? Or is it just different villains per episode, kind of episodic, like you said?
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty deep into the series right now to not have had a big reveal yet. Now that wrecking crew people, they're onto something, right? Somebody paid for them to try and get her blood in the previous episode.
Yeah. So
I think that is, if there is a big bet, I think it'll be there. I think Titania is going to be another meme episode like we have here. And if you don't know that actress, she played in The Good Place, and she's a lot like, or you played a character a lot like Madison here. So you might be in for a treat.
Oh my goodness. All right. So we will see what's going to happen this week. I mean, Do you think that Kingpin is the one that hired the Wrecking Crew? Is that how Daredevil introduced? Because we've seen Daredevil in the trailers. We know he's a lawyer, so there's that legal aspect as well. But if Kingpin is the one that hired him, maybe there's a relationship there. How do you think Daredevil's being introduced?
I think that'd be cool, and that would let us know that Kingpin didn't get killed off by Echo at the end of Hawkeye. That could be cool. I can maybe see that, but also I think it's probably more government related.
That damage control team that was in the Miss Marvel episode. Yeah.
That's what I can kind of see them wanting the Hulk stuff for. Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see, guys. Let me know your predictions for everything beyond episode 4 of She-Hulk. Obviously, if you've seen episode 5, don't leave those comments in the stuff. Still keep that embargo in case anybody hasn't seen it. But what are your thoughts of Marvel Strike Force? Is it optimistic? Is it pessimistic? How do you think the devs are going to handle this big mess that we have in the game right now, DorkyDad?
I hope they can get their stuff together very quickly because we have some big events coming up. We have Tower, which is a long-awaited event people want to have fun with. We have the Scourge event. They have to run another Rogue Scourge event as well because they said her saga is being unlocked this patch. Yeah. So they have a lot of emergency work that needs to be done before we can try and enjoy that stuff. And I hope they are taking this seriously. The lack of communication doesn't really inspire confidence in that, but it's kind of a mixed bag. Like the game right now, it's on fire. Structurally, it's on fire. But then we have so much fun stuff coming down the pipe to look forward to. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, and I hope the devs do fix all these problems that they've caused in their game and bring it back to a stable place. Rogue's event, guys, the saga is starting in 33 days as of us recording this, so her second event should be back sometime before that, and we should get Red Hulk within that time frame as well. So that is it. Any other final thoughts, Brother Dorky?
No, I think that's it. So as far as Rogue goes, she'll be 5 days before the saga comes live, right? Because the Scourge event lasts 5 days, and right after the second Scourge finishes, the sagas go live.
Okay, so that's if we look in game right now, 33 days, so that's a pretty good indication if it's a 5-day event, and that's when Rogue's second event is coming. So you have time, get your Young Avengers ready, get all those characters ready, and we know the date of the event now if that's gonna happen. All right, that is it. Anything that you have coming up on your channel, anything you want to promote, my brother, before we wrap everything up?
Yeah, so I'm going to be taking part in a streamathon for Children's Outreach, which is a great charity that does work with children's hospitals. Basically, gaming kits, brings them to sick kids who are stuck at the hospital. So I'm going to have a PvP tournament stream. Don't necessarily know who the contestants are going to be yet. It could be a mix between content creators and fans or higher ups in some of the high alliances. Like I'm going to try and get Zubin, who's the #1 Crucible player, try and get him involved. So we're going to have a lot of fun with it, and that's going to be a stream, and it'll double up as a YouTube video at some point, and that'll happen sometime in October on a Saturday. So I'll have more details coming up soon, and I'm sure we'll have another hang session before then.
Oh yeah, I think we definitely will. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, DorkyDad, for hanging out and discussing the good and mostly bad in Marvel Strike Force right now, but hopefully that changes. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. Make sure you go down to the link for Dorky's channel, give him a subscribe as well. Hit that notification bell. I will see you guys next time. If you're listening to the podcast version of it, get a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. Check me out on Twitter. Check out the link for TeePublic, and I will see you guys next time. Are you ready for that Hulk fist bump, DorkyDad?
Oh, I live for it. Let's go.
I live for it too. All right. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin at DorkyDad out. Have a great one, guys.